Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have some deceptively tiny damage charts, I guess. You could say only 10,900 there for the side of Crown on that Corky, topping out the meters.
That means we had a short game, Achilles, and this was a game run by Leeson. We've certainly had Leeson struggle. Definitely had a 0-10 start of the year, actually, when it came to Leeson win rates. But Haru deserves the MVP here. 100% kill participation, and actually finds himself equal first with another top jungler and score. Such was his start to the season that even though he'd subbed out for Ambition, had some struggles. Some big names in the top 5, but also some new names. It's cool to see Haru and Max joining Score, Mickey, and Faker, who of course have picked up many MVPs in their time.
Yeah. Other ones tied for second place now, Prey and Inspection coming in there, both 500 points. And it's just been really interesting to see the MVPs this time around in the spring split, because before it was completely dominated by top laners, Smed being double MVP. Now, junglers, even the support players, are able to pick them up. But Haru, at least did win something that had been eluding him for a little bit of time. Comes up with some major plays in this game.
You know, he's done well when I think back to the game, and I'm like, I don't think we saw him insecure. Because he was super on form this game, ready to, and oh, there it is, ha! I was wrong, he missed the cue. But guess what, he did everything else completely correctly, great target selection, the kill on the LeBlanc around the mid lane, and you know that he was snowballed to early serrated dirt, here it is.
Yeah.
Not often is the person who's recalling more aware of where they're at than the person who's walking.
Yeah, he just absolutely dumpster tapped right there. Then exchange, this was pretty much their Hail Mary, trying to defend the rest of the base, but it's too much to deal with there. Samsung was way too far ahead, and they win off this push.
Really good stuff from Samsung. I love games like this.
Great shot blind there as well.
And actually had confirmation it was blind, so that makes it extra cool. But I love games like this and series like this where both teams in their wins have played pretty flawlessly, outside of the smallest of mistakes that were not relevant in how the game went. There was no, they're ahead, oh now they're ahead, now they're ahead, they both threw, hooray. Like, this was actually a really clean series. Hope to see more of it. Game 3 is going to be a really interesting one. Excited to see picks and bans. Now we know that even if power is stacked on one side, we don't necessarily anoint a winner in Champions League.
Yeah. As you can expect, not going to see any roster swaps. That graphic popping on the screen, so still just going to be hard Stitch and Rate coming in for the side of Samsung.
We know there's also one that's a 6 song Achilles. It's never changed since season 1.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We didn't see the graphic, we didn't hear the song. Things stay the same, but can they pick up a win on the blue side? Is the question for Samsung.
Series has gone red side so far. Bans in game 1, Samsung betting Malzahar, Jason, Talent. So far the Malzahar is the same.
And Block will be banned away by BBQ, as we saw in game 1. Rengar going to be a bit of a change-up here for Samsung. Don't want Bless to get his hands on that one yet again.
Carry bans happen quite a lot in this series. It's just per ban in Korea. And now the Camille joins the bans. They experimented with Camille being opened and decided that that's more trouble than it's worth. Samsung trying to secure a first pick without giving away a really powerful rotation on red side. They consider what's up as in Rise bans previously in the series that's available, at least for the first round. Well, the top lane seems to be the only solo lanes that you're willing to pick early.
Could see the Kha'Zix snatched up here for Haru early on. Should that make it through? Yeah, Jace going to be that third funnel man to the side of BBQ. So Samsung, did they want to just go for the Kha'Zix in? Did they want to take away an AD carry? It's a good point. Could see that one picked up here.
Jin and Ash, the AD carries, so unless you have a comp around the long-range engage of the Jin, I guess you don't necessarily have to first pick it. But it's so powerful and so frequently picked, we shouldn't necessarily be surprised to see it first picked. I'd see Karma taken away from Jin where possible. So I would love to see something Karma on the side of BBQ. And Udyr would send me through the moon, but Ezreal Karma would be a pretty strong laning choice into the Jin.
I think that Udyr might break the Twitch chat.
Come on, Twitch chat's broken.
That's true, they're impossible.
They just found out the OG Ezreal meme, so they're having fun.
Spam sitting with that one, but actually with the Ash available, it's going to be the Ezreal pickup here for Ghost.
Exactly what I wanted.
And the Karma, so you might just get your wish pops, but it looks like it will just be this duo in the bottom lane here for BBQ. Ghost moving over to Ezreal this time around.
I love it when they drop the Karma in the first round. She's the best on 7.3. Malzahar, lower priority on the ban this game. Zyra certainly falling down a little bit.
Really nerfed a little bit as well.
I mean, Malzahar is still first roundable just because forces people to buy QSSs is kind of the story with the Malzahar. You don't have dominating lanes to make up for it. Okay, back to the Rise. Seventh game on Rise, 1-5, which makes for a really poor reading. 1-3-1 comps, you know, especially in the European region. You see a lot of 1-3-1 with Rise, been a very dominant pick there, but Short of Faker having some good games, haven't seen quite the same power in the Rise in Korea. Or maybe just a pick comp.
It's looking to be that way. Thresh taken here for Wraith. So we'll just have more Thresh twice in a row now for him, but Cassiopeia is available, and this makes perfect sense for Tam.
And if you want to take him now, certainly will be banned on the blue side in the second round, so they take him in lane while they can. Big surprise, see no tanks taken, so you look at the first pick for BBQ, and right now you put Maokai there, the picture of Maokai's there unless it's banned.
I think we're going to see that banned away by Samsung almost certainly. If BBQ doesn't have an ace up their sleeve, we'll take that off the board themselves. Looks like Rumble will be the first one, so I think, okay.
One champion, come on, because you can be the color costume now.
Please don't ban.
Well, so far so good.
Okay. This is looking pretty good. Samsung kind of teasing them.
Unless you go full 1-3-1 and play Fiora on the side of Samsung. I mean, Samsung knows exactly what's up. They're 100% certain that Maokai will be taken here. And hilariously, the game plan is bad as well. For the ultimate, we're taking Maokai. But there is certainly a chance they leave it up and have something pre-planned. Remember, they shattered our expectations in Game 2, leaving up the God early game draft for a BBQ and then beat it. Would still be very surprised to see not a Maokai ban. Do they trust in Cubase? Because if they do, they don't ban Maokai.
Oh, they ban Rek'Sai.
They don't ban Maokai.
Okay, so Maokai first pick it is.
But now it's almost suspicious. Now you're like, wait.
This could be the ultimate mind game by Samsung.
Now you just take, I guess, I mean, what else is available? So there's 80 carry support mid, so top and jungle. You can take a jungler, I guess.
I don't know. Let's see what answers Samsung.
Now it's like, wait. Maokai?
Yeah, I'm confused there, actually. They're actually not taking Maokai. But it'll be even more confusing if Samsung is taking Maokai.
No, of course they will, Achilles. Have they just pulled off the mind game of the century?
I think they really did. I haven't seen a mind game this good. I'm sure we've had a couple great ones that I just am not recalling, but this kind of harkens back to the MSI finger block play, from EG.
And you take the Kha'Zix, certainly. Maokai Kha'Zix was the dream last two picks for BBQ.
Wow. Alright. Oh, man. So Samsung met themselves.
And now BBQ are like, wait, were they always going to do this? Or did we let them do this?
Oh, dear. I really love to talk.
Now we just need it off the record for this drop. They will never produce that video. But I'm just going to go to producer afterwards and be like, please, give me the video.
How good of English does Trace speak? I would love to talk to him after this.
I think he actually speaks pretty good English.
Alright, I'm going to have to reach out to him and see if this was the plan all along. Because if so, good lord.
And now BBQ like, I don't know, Poppy, we need a tank. Crazy only plays tanks and we banned everything else.
Oh boy, well, this got derailed for BBQ pretty quickly. On paper, at least.
What a drop. That was the coolest 5-ban drop I've seen so far in terms of mind games. It was really good. Rek'Sai, which of course is a big pick for Bless. It's his best win rate jungler so far, but that was the drop that kept giving. Absolutely. Cool stuff, but now we get a third game, which, given how the series is going already, Samsung vs BBQ, not a banner match. It's certainly not the telecom war that we opened up tomorrow's broadcast with, but it's been a game that has kept giving. Third game draft has been cool. And now I feel like Samsung have kind of come across, or come ahead in a draft that looks set up for BBQ to succeed. Still some good picks on the side of BBQ. But I'm really excited to get to game 3.
Yeah. I mean, this game 3 is going to be really important. Both these teams need a good read on each other because they have to square off yet again on Saturday. So it's going to be very swiftly that they get that second matchup coming through. So a win right here would be very important for either side. Again, I'm just hoping that we get a much more even matchup than we've seen from games 1 and 2. It's been very one-sided.
I'll take a clean victory if one of the teams can pull it off. It was a clean draft from Samsung. Weird combination of terms, but that's what it felt like. Saw some power on BBQ. A match between 2 top 5 teams. You can imagine when we close out this series.
Yeah. Alright, let's see who's going to take it. Crown trying to get another win on this rise. See if he can do it. Let's get onto the rim for our third and final game of the night.
Getting late in the night, the voices are getting a little bit raspier from the crowd who've been shouting all night.
Yep. Working to contain my own, have to preserve it for that telecom war tomorrow.
Oh, come on, don't phone in. This one's a good game, Achilles.
I'll give it everything I got.
But not everything.
Not everything.
No. The reserves will stay intact.
Yeah.
It's like when you play those games where you collect ammo, and you're like, I never know if I should use these hollow-tipped bullets I have.
I'll use the mains, but not the reserves.
Okay. We'll keep the grenades for tomorrow. It's going to be popping off. Are you ready for the scripted 3 Inferno Drake start? It happens every time! Every time we ask, it's either 3 Oceans or 3 Infernos.
Yeah. Gotta do one or the other. Maybe we'll get 3 Cloud Drakes tomorrow. Who knows? For now, we're going to be starting with Cloud Drake.
I wouldn't know what to think of those 3 mountains. That just never happens.
Great. BBQ. Great. Push forward, but just getting poked back. You see Harvest desperately trying to get some of these. He's got 1 so far. Last 3 damage in on the Bless. He's going to have to hightail it out of here, so that should be the big Raptor going over to Haru.
Just to be clear, the HP values at least don't mean much because
She has sustain.
she has sustain, but the biggest story is that because she has the Spider Links, they do a lot of tanking. There's a reason that back in Season 3, you could go Doran Blade, Jungle Elise, and just tank with saplings. If before, you could put a potion with that Doran Blade. So cool to see the contestant. It's actually a surprisingly big risk because whenever you remember seeing those invades, they're always blue side invading red because much more simple for Maokai to just do the saplings and walk to top lane, much longer route when you're walking from the bot side. So, the game of rock, paper, scissors seems to have been won out by BBQ. As you can see, the health onto Elise not being a big consideration.
Yeah, did chug up both of those refillable potion charges, but that combined with Spider Links enough to keep him safe for now. So Bless will be alright to carry on through the jungle. Crown. Gonna be looking for a big turnaround performance from him.
And because Bless is sent out to his top side jungle with natural pathing, playing around mid lane and then coming at a surprising time to gank mid is a possibility. If Ryze pushes out, at least coming from bot side is one of the least likely things for mid gank. But Cassio has been largely pushing, so for now not going to happen.
Could just be a 3-buff here from Bless. Rotating back over to the top side of the map. Looks like he gets spotted out like crazy.
That's why he sends Poppy to ward over from the Crux. That is a max range ward he can place.
Yeah, the recall came through from Haru, so he's not going to be there to try to go for it. So it's going to be a 3-buff start for Bless. Nicely done.
Felt like Samsung pulled off a pseudo 3-buff in how they got Maokai in the pick and ban, and now the actual 3-buff from BBQ. So not to be overcome from what was an interesting draft. I really like their early strategy of contesting the saplings, even though they were on the bot side of the blue side jungle, and then getting the 3-buff. Really cool. We haven't seen a start like this so far in LCK, so first time we see it, and a smart rotation for BBQ.
Intelligent indeed. Just going to have the stalemate up here in the top lane. Cubit going for the double doors as per usual. Crazy he hasn't had that back coming through yet. But as you can expect what he's going to be building. So nothing too shocking going to come out of those top laners until the TPs come back up and maybe we get some action. Somewhere on the map, likely in that bottom lane, if Wraith and Stitch can hit level 6 and get a nice hook coming through, try to set up a play.
So at least also poses problems for Crown in the mid lane. Famously a matchup that Cassiopeia does very well into Ryze. whatever the state of the mage rework. Asio has always won that lane, even though Rise a bit more competitive these days than before.
Of course, Temp going for the cleanse doesn't want to get locked down long enough for hard to jump onto his face. Get exactly the plethora of CC that Samsung is bringing to the board.
Back up someone's taking his exhaust, but surprisingly no exhaust on the side of Samsung.
Yeah, Wraith going for the Ignite. So very aggressive bot lane decision, despite the fact that we haven't really seen him gone for too many trades here with the Death Sentence.
It's an all-in trade decision. If you go exhaust Thresh, you basically straight up lose to Karma, but if you go for Ignite Thresh, especially with a Jhin, you have a lot of kill pressure. So a situational pick, but maybe something we'll see more and more of with the pretty heavy exhaust nerfs when we move to 7.4.
Keep our eyes on how that one's going to unravel. Should be some big meta shifts after that patch comes through. Right now, things have been mostly the same compared to 7.2. Some priority shifting. Release coming back in ground though. Left the wall, gets himself away from that cocoon. Dark Passage thrown down just in case, but that's both summoner spells away from the Rise.
It was an instant ghost flash. We'll have that for wraparound. Temp didn't use anything. Also on the last patch, actually no, I'm not 100% sure, reading both patch notes, but I think 7.4 is the first patch where they patched the ult flash mechanic that Faker used on Cassiopeia, and Temp then copied, was in the bug fixes of a recent patch. I think it was 7.4, so I think the ult flash is still available on 7.3.
Yeah, you are 7.4.
So in 7.4, you won't be able to do the mechanic where it looks like you're holding backwards, but you flash in and still register it in front. 7.3, which we're currently playing on this week, that is still possible. Haven't seen much of it in a few weeks.
See how things get shaken out there. I mean, Cho'Gath potentially coming back. I haven't seen Cho'Gath in the meta for a while.
Problem with Cho'Gath is it still doesn't matter. Mid-lane Cho'Gath was the last thing we saw.
So Western played that quite a bit.
It's like 20
not the most recent one.
Yeah, since then, Cho'Gath doesn't really have a lane. Even in mid lane now, it doesn't feel like you can really get through lane phase, even though EQ is pretty good wave clear. Rod of Age is now the most double dipping, with the ultimate scaling off the maximum HP and the ability power. We'll see though. When I played competitive way long ago, it was double Cho'Gath days in Season 2.
Yeah, that's a bit of a throwback.
The competitive is also in inverted commas. It was the very much the early days of the Oceanic Pro scene. I miss Mundo and Cho'Gath jump, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, Mundo. He'll be back one day. Just wait for Spirit Visage buff. He'll be back.
Oh dear, yeah.
The Spirit Visage or warm-up is going to get the love tap.
I was playing Earth mode the other day. Dr. Mundo really sucks to play against him right now on that. Just never dies, constant cleaver spam.
Mundo's fun when he's on the edge of the meta, but when he is the meta, it's just the most mad of all times.
War clear coming through. Oh, comes over the wall, jumps on the bless. Get some damage, and won't find much. Blast forward into the flame. Between him going up the wall, Dark Passage comes through, Dragon Crown in. And that's going to be First Blood going over the Rise. Nicely set up by Samsung.
Big investment though, they invested the teleport to pick it up. If there wasn't a teleport, Temp would have considered an ult flash of some sort to try and allow Blast to get out, but without flash, he was always probably going to die. But no chance of a trade, given that the teleport was invested.
Some flash TP burned out from the side of Samsung. But nice little burst of gold to come through that'll help get Crown closer towards that Rod of Ages right now, just sitting on tier and boots. So, gonna get pulled out by Temp, who is up at Doran's ring.
You can see the rubber banding of jungle experienced. Haru wasn't forced to enter lanes at all, so he's up to level 7, given that even though he got 3 buffed. Able to power farm his way there.
Crown's been able to be pretty competitive here as far as CS is concerned, where you think Temp might be able to shove him off the minion waves very easily.
This is basically winning the lane for Rise, given that the lane matchup, although the counter matchup doesn't suit him at minimum. Big win for Rise is if he can somehow get the enemy Cassiopeia's turret first and then start playing the 1-3-1 game. Cassiopeia finds it hard to track into side lane, especially with Exhaust and not Ghost. Don't have a semi-global like the Realm War, but can be exploited by running around the map.
Waiting for that one to come through. Temp doesn't have the Ghost to try to roam down to, match Crown if he goes towards that bottom lane. So that could be a big swing point.
The Realm War in this game is likely going to be Rise launching at minimum Maokai, but maybe even Maokai Thresh, or more members, of course. We've seen a lot of teams that have struggled for ranged initiation, just launch Maokai into the backline, and then the confusion, come in with the rest of the 4 members in more linear fashion. But Thresh in the backline with the boss is also pretty good, even if Thresh ends up dying. It's a massive initiation option for Samsung.
He spotted Haru out. That True Shot Rock didn't go over top of him. Good call. It's open. Wraith is going to drag in Haru. Hook comes through. Certainly would have connected on Totoro. Good on him to go ahead and flash away.
Almost down. Spotted in the control ward.
Lands on to Haru. Ghost goes forward. The Arcane Ship doesn't get punished. So he'll be alright to do so.
So let's watch this lane.
My favorite.
It could be a solo kill in 2 or 3.
A twisted advance.
But no charge from Poppy.
Pretty
cool lane to watch at level 2 or 3. But after that,
yeah, it's a watch.
I watch it, so what can I say?
Sometimes that's interesting.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't get to watch much of it anymore. Outside of Australia.
Maybe there's no big cricket network in Korea.
No, turns out. They don't show cricket. They're too busy showing this competitive video games on TV.
Sounds dumb. It's just a bunch of nerds.
Damn if they don't look anime in the intros.
They certainly do. We get those anime storylines, videos versus C9.
Sure. Guess we haven't had a resolution or more information about if P1 intends to persist with Meteos.
Something that would likely be smart to consider, you don't think?
Operant words for me is consider. And always certainly has big games.
Oh, great. Getting caught out. Goes low. Shield comes up, but it's not enough to keep him alive. He goes down, plus takes away the kill. Nice turnaround there by BB, keeping on Samsung. They're trying to get an answering kill. Deadly Flourish cancel attempt, and cleanse off. Will keep him safe, has the flash available all the same. He makes it out with life.
If Ray Steadfast not using the flash unless he needed to, no Petrifying Gaze this game either. I mean, up to level 10. Not really had a compelling reason to use that. 2 matchups that Samsung on paper were going to struggle to win was the bot lane, where we seen Stitch actually able to push in Ghost, despite, as we saw in Series 1 and also Bang explaining, that Ezreal has the pushing advantage against Jin in particular, through the ability to Q and order the first minion, and Karma only helps that. It's been surprising that Stitch has been able to push up the lane as much as he has in the bot side, and then Rise going equal with Cassiopeia is a surprise in itself as well. So 2 lanes you'd expect to go pressure-wise against Samsung have gone in their advantage. Well, you might find it surprising that Samsung are up in gold with, advantageous lanes in every lane, because Poppy, sure, it's almost a wash against Maokai, but it's a slight, 10% edge to Poppy even in terms of early game presence.
BBQ is trying to keep it as close as possible, though. We're pretty much even at the moment. And that's with that first blood boost coming through for Samsung.
The way I'd read this is that Samsung are effectively, in air quotes, 2,000 gold because they've had such a good early game, because of the lane matchups should have gone the other way. So it's almost one of those small disadvantage but lead because of implied scaling for Samsung. No more mages at 14 minutes. We do see the recall on the mini-map, so that's probably on the menu.
Yeah, it should be coming through here, so I'll have that fully stacked just before 25 minutes. There we go. Is picked up. As well as his Bertrand, so I had a pretty nice purchase here.
And no magic hands. Wow, that's a lot of gold.
Oh, wow.
I mean, with a kill, I guess that makes sense. It's been a bit delayed on picking it up. But Samsung's comfortable playing a long game. It's where they shine the most, even though Game 1 was such a decisive win for Samsung Galaxy. Game 2, sorry.
That feeling we might have a very long, drawn-out game by Samsung, and not generic for series.
You take your victories where you can as a caster.
Good with the bad always. Jump Rush comes out to try to push that wave in.
I wonder when they kind of surrender the standard lanes and start putting Rise in the side lane. We might see a roam walk play though. Crown's walking up.
Opening up, that's going to be out of mana. Goes, has to flash away. Crown comes into the roam walk. Wants to get down on top of it. Yeah, he'll throw in a bit of damage, but can't stay in underneath the turret. He backs out. So Realm Warp for Flash and Ghost burned out by Crown.
I really want to see Crown parked in the bottom lane with 2 summoners. The Ghost not the biggest one to be down, because then Jin match is way clear, Jin opens up, and then Realm Warp into kills is so likely. 1-3-1 is very much the setup when you have these Rise comps. For now though, Rise has been matching farm with Cassiopeia mid, so we aren't going to see that phase of the game just yet.
Another twisted advance.
I like the way he's twisted. It sounds interesting.
I gotta do something.
You do.
Or else I'll go insane.
I think of the lane more as inane rather than insane.
Nice wordplay.
Thank you.
Oh boy, alright. Well, slow and steady as she goes. Pretty much dead even across the board, as it has been for quite some time. Cloud Drake. Completely ignored. Feeling a bit like the Rift Herald right now.
Yep.
He'll be saying goodbye pretty soon.
Who will die first? Will it be the Rift Herald leaving the Rift, or the Cloud Drake being taken?
It's a tough call, but I'm going to give it to the Rift Herald leaving first. Or, the Cloud Drake leaving first, actually.
I know, Achilles.
Bless those 4. Tries to get that cocoon. Won't connect. Dark Passage is enough. Get them out to safety. Thought maybe we could have a pick right there that would lead to the Cloud Drake, so maybe now I'm regretting my decision.
I walked up and I was like, it's Cloud Drake. Oh, never mind.
You're getting a bit too excited for Cloud Drake. We're like, that's Cloud Drake.
They're killing Cloud Drake. That's the most exciting we've had all game.
Well, we thought Crown was going to die. Bumped her. That was pretty exciting.
Let's be real. We can't complain. We've had 4 games today, including 2 from Jin Air and 2 from Samsung, both late game teams. That's been pretty damn exciting.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be the 50 minutes. I accept.
We got both sides of the spectrum. Granted, Rocks did look quite good in the first match, but there's more mistakes that we've seen so far here between Samsung and BBQ. But we kind of had both sides of the spectrum where this is like more clean macro play. The first set was just kill everything that moves. Best of both worlds.
Full range of LCK.
We don't get that first one.
No.
Oh, here we go. Bottom lane yet again.
Alright, accuracy here. Oh my goodness. We weren't going to see if he hit the full. Well, that's depressing.
All those shots. Looks like he might have. Tempted to go down quite low, but there's just no follow-up. Trying to come up with a kill. QV rolling down towards his mid lane. Just charges all the way down the river to toss the saplings. Alright, that work. Kira's done.
Yeah, top lane push, so no need for him to stay in the top lane. Speaking of top lane, pushing. Balmy Cinder Spirit with this tanky Poppy, but certainly not going to be getting any free buckler shots onto the turret anytime soon.
Yeah. Take away on the blue buff there. Haru had to take it, couldn't hand it over to Crown. And just pop the smite to ensure the steal.
Frozen Heart first from QV. You look at the enemy team. Ezreal, passive, the Rising Spell Force definitely going to be impacted there, but not a traditional auto attack AD carry. At least does more auto attacking than most junglers.
Oh,
I was finally right. Oh. Yeah, they will go ahead and take this one away. So Cloud Drake, first dragon of the game, goes down at 19 minutes and 15 seconds, and we are rewarded for the diligence with an Infernal.
First objective of the game. Interestingly, there has been no turrets taken so far, only kills. First objective being a 19-minute. Drake lets you know this game is played at it's exceptionally slow pace.
Yeah. Now pushing forward, Tap's going to get rooted. Already as the cleanse comes through. He will keep himself alive. He's chucked down to about half HP.
If both Wraith and Crown had turned around, then the hook would have registered, and that would have been a kill. So 1 out of 2, not enough. Nice dude from Crown.
Samsung, where do I go from here? Looks like it might just be charging. Went back up the river. Not going to get hit by that cocoon. Deadly first dodged out by the hell from Blast. He comes back down. Hook not going to connect. Blast goes on. Big play back in for Rick. They come for the kills, they take out the elites, but they're going to trade Thresh for it. Crown trying to trade back here with him, but he's quite low on mana. Good call shot lands. Another one. The fourth and final on Haru. He's got the Void Spikes to finish off the Cassiopeia. 2 kills for 1, picked up by Sam. Samsung, can they transition that into a first brick? It's going to be the question. Maybe looking at this mid lane turret. But instead, they're going to take away some jungle cans.
The accuracy of Stitch on these bolts has really been what has allowed Samsung to get the small advantage on what otherwise has been very even trades between Samsung and BBQ. First 4 shots on 10 should have let him know that actually the accuracy, the steadiness of hand from Stitch couldn't really be trifled with, and tried to turn it around and do damage, saw the curtain call. 2 shots hit, allows Crown to close the distance. Playing stuff from Samsung's sub-80 carry, and making a name for himself, first brick as well. First meaningful advantage of the game over to Samsung.
Yeah, gold explodes forth right there for these guys.
We see the replay, Bless takes a lot of damage, and you think, okay, maybe Samsung can run through.
Play from range. Beautiful 3-member hook.
It is, but then Wraith dies, and you're like, okay, Crown's auto-attacking. But finally, Stitch feels safe enough, flashes into a vault. Unfortunate. The next 2 register. Definite Dorito situation. Spot cut. Stop. In this case, it's appropriate skip.
That's Pringles.
Doritos, Pringles. It's still late, Achilles.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Doritos. I gave you free advertising. My bad.
It's the jet lag talking here.
Maybe it's a lack of confectionery knowledge.
Shot barrage comes through. Realm War being thrown down. Trying to get away from that TP. They come back in. Trying to cut off Crazy. He jumps on the Stitch. Can't come up with a stun on the wall. The flourish goes right between he and Bless. The Poppy will make it out. The TP for Realm Warp and heal from Stitch. Yes. Pretty decent trade for Samsung.
Company Full Circle commented multiple times this series about how Cuvée was not looking for the early teleports, looking to either match or walk down. This time Crazy makes the assertive teleport, gets nothing for it. So Cuvée gets the big map advantage, walks top. Poppy recalls, so they're going to try and rush down the outer top turret. Think better of it though, don't have the adequate ward coverage to do it. And 1-3-1 is finally possible. When the first turret line is broken, just Stitch taking first break in bot lane, you can start the Realm Warp roam potential from Crown. An open map for a team that needs to set up like BBQ means a lot of different angles for Maokai and Rise to enter the fight.
So far things have been pretty good here for Samsung as they approach on about 3,000 gold lead, a couple hundred shy of that mark. Still nothing too massive, 23 minutes. BBQ with one good team fight could swing themselves back into an advantageous position, get the lead.
So see how they can do it in the next 3.5 minutes, where either you have to pull the Poppy and Maokai gets free time in top, or Cassiopeia matches Rise, has to play super defensively, and 5v3 happens in the mid lane. So defending here is actually really tough for BBQ, while the teleport is down for Crazy.
We'll see if Samsung can pull the trigger on something while that TP is still down. Now the way moving up, but doesn't want to go much further than that. Sniffed out that Tempt was hovering somewhere nearby. Doesn't want to get burst down. There's a Haru waiting in the wings. So they want to try to get aggressive. Speaking of that, Ghost getting locked down by Stitch. Firing off these shots, just get a little bit of damage. The multiple members of BBQ can't come up with anything too meaningful. And right now the turret will still elude them. They're going to clear out the way fast enough to get some more damage in, but full 5 members of BBQ with Crazy coming in from the sidelines. Big Keeper's verdict, that's going to eject right back out of the fight. The plus goes low, Cuvée in the front line. Picking up as best as he can. Neither going to go down. Petrified Knees juked out by Crown. Really good turnaround by him. Make sure he doesn't get locked up. They have a couple more minions just trying to whittle away at this tier 1 as best as they can, but they're just not going to find much ground, so Samsung going to have to go ahead and peel back.
It's much harder for Samsung to actually take this out of mid lane turret playing as 5 than it is playing as 3. When they're splitting the map, more members are drawn out and they get incremental damage. When they try to force it, BBQ can stand up in a 5v5 very easily. So they'll back away, mini waves are no longer prepped, and kind of means that the no teleport phase from Crazy is probably not going to go punished, so that's a good sign for BBQ.
Yeah, he's just going to have to stick around here in the mid lane because that Infernal Drake spawning out in 10 seconds.
That spawning means the map is that much narrower. You need to play around the Infernal Drake, you need Maokai there to put down vision or allow Wraith to walk up to put down vision.
Right now there's pretty much no vision. There's one ward. There's the backside of the pit.
Will Cuvée consider recalling? There's 2 control wards in great spots to come around the Baron.
But definitely see that flank coming out. It's going to grab to be fought over right now. It looks like it is taken by Bless.
From Warp as well.
Well, that established vision. BBQ, they do start up the Infernal Drake, but this could just be a pretty messy fight coming in. Cuvée going to have to do his damnedest to take off all his damage. Totoro's are down to half HP.
Level 13 on both jumblers.
He's getting to that back line, jump on top of Tempt or Ghost. Let's see if he can do it. Dragon going down, 1,500 goes in on top of Blush, trying to lock up the Elise as best as possible. Petrified, getting it, not going to land. That's going to be the Kirk call. Open down, Cuvée has to flash into the pit, trying to keep himself alive. Shots coming through, 4th one, does find Totoro. He goes low. Meanwhile, Haru in the pit. Repel comes through from Bless. It's going to be Haru picking up the Infernal Drake, but can they mitigate their losses? Haru will fall. 2 kills so far from the side of BBQ. Totoro and Bless barely making it out with their lives. They come up with 2 kills, but they do not get the Drake.
Second fight in a row where Bless lives on what feels like single-digit health. So close. Haru does pick up the steal. Both were at level 13, but so much fighting. The targets in this fight were really interesting to track. For the longest time, they started DPSing down Cube. So even though Tempt was completely on the ultimate, I assumed that BBQ, because they had inside track, will be able to take down the Drake, but the rest of BBQ has to go back, which means the Bless all alone. By the time he comes down, nice smite through. It's very consequential, and Bless doesn't die.
The timing of that charge from Crazy. But look at this, coming back into the line.
BBQ don't even know. They think about it now, but it's
going
down
right
to
over onto this. Yeah, Barrett down below 2K now. Stitch arriving. They see this happening, and that's just going to be the Barrett picked up. Cube comes in, trying to lock somebody up. Goes twisted advance onto Ghost in the back line. Doesn't have any mana. Just trying to smack him as hard as the tree can, but he flashes out of the bit of safety. Stitch goes over the wall, gets a kill in on the Totoro, but he pays for that one with his own life. As Crazy stuns him in and takes him out. A 1-for-1 and a Barrett going over to BBQ off the backside of that Infernal Drake.
And sometimes a 1-for-1 to deny a Baron on the side of BBQ can mean a lot, but Karma's Baron buff is definitely the lowest value. Will always be grouped with someone. So whether they want to play 1-3-1 or whether they want to group, not a big value in denying the Baron buff from Karma. And that's sort of 1-for-1. It also trades experience to the side of BBQ. So lower member killing a higher experience member. BBQ very decisive. Unfortunately, some of the context is lost because we were in a replay. But seems to just run it to Baron. They knew that all the vision for the last few minutes had been placed around the Drake, the Infernal that draws so much attention, dominating the vision of Samsung. And a decisive Baron call from BBQ is their first kind of opening of this game. So we saw the game open for Samsung earlier, and now we see BBQ needing the Baron against the run of play and picking it up.
Yeah. How much can they get for this? With this, rather, is going to be the question. Looks like the Tier 1 turret mid will be the first target, as well as, well, they're just going to go ahead. Do a full court press here as Crazy pushes in the top lane. Cube trying to get up there to stop this from going down. I'm not sure how much work he can do. The shield is there for Crazy, and he is, thank you, Poppy. Seems like he will go ahead and peel back. Tier 1 is taken by Tempt in the bottom. And now they want this mid. There's not a lot of wave clear on the side of Samsung.
So 3 ranged auto attackers, so very hard to lock them down. Such great kiting from Karma and Ezreal especially, so 2 turrets already. They're pushing on to a third, and Samsung don't really have the tools to stop them.
Yeah, trying to have this Stitch has to walk up into short range just to try to get these hits in on the minions. But even that, Baron Power is just making it more and more difficult for them to clear these out.
Ezreal and red buff. Always been a terror. One of the best wearers of double buffs of any AD carry, and whether it was the poke or the auto attacks onto the turret, they're walking up a third time.
Stitch is here by himself. Haru just now arriving, won't be able to do anything. So Tier 2 does get taken by BBQ. Now they're starting to stretch a bit of a lead. 1,000 gold in their favor. We'll add yet another turret onto it.
They were pretty big in the hole too. I think it was around 4,000 gold was the lead for Samsung. They had the 1-3-1. They should have been able to play the map better. Ceteris paribus, other things being equal, was a very large swing from taking the Baron, which with Cassiopeia is always a possibility. Decisive play was actually put them in the driver's seat come 30 minutes. What's been an enthralling 3-game series.
Yeah. Really great shot calling by BBQ. So just, felt safe enough. They knew that they had to kill on a Haru. Even though they lost the Infernal, they have that damage, as you mentioned, from the Cassiopeia. So easy rotation up towards that Baron for them. And now they start inching ahead. After the Baron take was about 2,000 gold in the lead with Samsung. Now they swing that into their favor by about 1.2. So overall, a pretty decent Baron power play from BBQ.
And you can't even help feeling, though, that we haven't seen the last great turn of this series. We've seen good moves on the side of Samsung and the Baron especially on the side of BBQ. But I'm hoping the game is decided by a very inventive Realm War or a huge ult flash from the Cassiopeia. Because while it was a really big Baron power play, the game is still pretty damn even. Infernal Drake scaling. Next Drake coming in a minute. That's picked up by Samsung. They're going to have that alternate win condition of the Elder Drake as well. Well,
yeah,
that's a fast poppy.
Definitely zipping along there pretty quickly. But it seems like BBQ might have netted everything that they could possibly get with that Baron buff at the current moment. So still very good pickups for them across the board. But shouldn't be able to attack too much more on to the list.
Item time is really good from Crown. We still haven't really seen Teamfight rise, but he is massive compared to the Cassiopeia, who's still getting there. Well, has plenty of power of her own, but can't stand up to the completed items that Crown has.
4 item rise in 31.5 minutes.
Including the voice stuff as well.
Yeah. He's going to do quite a bit, even to Poppy, you'd have to expect. So a lot of respect going to have to go over to him, but you can see BBQ for now. They have the inside track on that turret. They're able to knock it down, so another tier 2 goes over to them.
I just don't think Maokai walking up is the solution, although...
Well, Ghost gets caught. About half HP. Totoro might just be the target. Keeper's very thrown out.
It's all though.
Like crazy. He's going to go ahead. He ejects Cubey out of the fight. F goes low. Haru getting choked out as well. Wraith's going to have to peel back. Crown now all on his lonesome on the opposite side of all 5 members of BBQ. Such a bad spot to be in flashes. Will not get stunned into the wall, but this is just pretty much all she wrote. Gets a big shield coming here from the Archangels. Can he make it out of here with his life? The answer is going to be no, as Bless takes him down. And oh, look at this. A consolation prize. And another Infernal Drake spawns. BBQ looking to get there first, but the rest of Samsung only have something to say about this.
Definitely not going to give it over for free. They turn on to Cuvée.
He's going to go ahead, take that twisted advance back over onto Crazy Trust, trying to get himself away from the multiple members of BBQ, but he's getting ripped down to half HP. Deadly Flourish's not going to stop anybody in Temp. He's got so much damage. There we go. He tries to flash away, but he gets taken down as Ghost comes up with a kill, and that's going to be an Infernal Drake going over to BBQ, and now things really starting to unravel for Samsung. Just a little bit too gung-ho with that Realm War.
Yeah, he went into the back line, got a bit of DPS, then backed away, and it looked like BBQ would have to disengage. But when he showed his face a second time, they realized, wait, we can just turn onto the rise. He has no tank line, doesn't even have a secondary DPS like Kha'Zix to back him up. The target selection was very, very easy. You watch the replay, and when Crown just heavily outplays Tempt, once again dodged the Petrifying Gaze. Everything's actually really good for BBQ at this point, but when he shows up a second time, Crazy can move around, Bless can move around, they have gap closes. Flash is definitely not going to bring out enough space between Crown and the rest of the team. That was where things kind of fell away for Samsung. They tried to play it cute around the Infernal Drake as well, but an answering Infernal Drake, more kills. Control further cemented for BBQ, but one team fight away from Samsung, regaining that control.
You have to think that things could have been very different had Cuvée not gotten ejected out of that fight with the Keeper's Verdict. If he had been there to, try to lock somebody down for Crown, at least peel for him, could have seen the Rise making it out with his life. But now BBQ start stretching a lead of their own. Still haven't broken 2,000 gold in that regard, but another Baron having spawn definitely could help them out.
Yes, teleport, but doesn't have any advanced wards around the blue buff to be able to look for a teleport flank. Nice control ward placement by Samsung.
Yeah, will get cleared out though. So it won't be established vision for too much longer. See BBQ not going to try to, well maybe they will try to force up this Baron. They could just go ahead and duo this.
Man.
Crazy. No vision on it right now. Cuvée goes, throws out the sapling. They know that this is happening. BBQ will go ahead and peel back, and this should give an opening for Samsung to push in, clear out some of this vision, get some down. Cuvée getting locked up. Stunned into the wall by Crazy. Already down below half HP. Temp just firing away on it with those Twisted Fangs. He's got to get out of here. Does not have a Guardian Angel available. Current call opened up by Sitch, just trying to dissuade the rest of the team from moving in and killing the Maokai. The Maokai goes down. That is certainly going to be the Baron over to BBQ.
Two long-range harassment tools down. I think you can turn on to Baron. Not really worried about the... contest now, and Haru is not spotted, so look for the steal.
Recall comes through, Cuvée keeping back into the fight. Redemption comes down, Crazy pop back up yet again at full HP. Baron at 4k health. Can they stop this? Petrifying Gaze yet again, not going to find anybody. Kept getting locked up. The big shield comes through. He almost gets bursted down, and then he goes Stitch on this one. Comes up with a kill. Crazy gets his GA pop now, just trying to exit as best as he can, but Samsung has so much damage. They take out 3 members of BBQ, and now they themselves are turning over onto the Baron. Bless is so low. It'd be a suicide mission for him to go for this steal, but he feels like he might just have to do it. One shot from Stitch would take him out. Deadly Flourish not going to connect, but Crown is here to follow up. That is going to be the Spider getting stomped out. That's the Baron to Samsung, and they turn this game right on its head time and time again.
BBQ overforced around a second Baron. They remembered how much the first Baron gave them, but around the second Baron, Crazy gave up his whole health bar during the trade tanking. You look at it at this point, and okay, Crazy's strong, they've got position, but Crazy takes free damage from everyone while the rest of them are getting low, tanking up the Baron. They could have fully disengaged or fully engaged. They did neither. And then they end up overcommitting and still tanking Baron. There was a real big misplay. Around the big purple monster, and low health bars, people disengaging in multiple different directions. Finally, Haru can have the sort of fight he's been waiting for. Didn't have any kill involvement of any description previous to that fight. The first Baron opened the game for BBQ. What will the second Baron do to Samsung Galaxy?
Definitely have to see. You can see already swinging gold right back into their favor. 4K up now is Samsung, and they are out for those inner turrets. Haven't been able to take a single one yet in this game. Sorry, mid lane. They did get the mid lane. See if they can get more.
Start walking up now, and the same sort of game that we saw from BBQ.
One more hit will do it. They should be able to safely take that. The minions could also get it, but Stitch walks up. They take that one out.
Getting a Baron against a 1-3-1 comp. Got all the standing gold for BBQ. But now that we have the Baron on a 1-3-1 comp, you shouldn't be surprised to see a significant CS advantage for Rise, who is probably basically a shop away from 6 items.
Yeah, also just a little ways away from that flame horizon.
This is what happens though, as Cassiopeia, you're kind of rooted to the mid lane. You need to get the blue buff when it spawns. You find it a lot harder to chase after and match the swift push.
I mean, look at that shot. 656 damage to the turtle, that 4th and final crit from Stitch. So if he can just keep getting in range to get those final shots off, the turrets will not last very long.
Samsung win. What does it say about their lineup that they persisted with Haru, Stitch, and Wraith as their configuration today? And especially Stitch has been very, very good, and Wraith has been more than capable. Wraith was never a liability for this lineup. He was very, very good during the regular season, and then fell away to Cuvée specifically in the postseason of 2016 summer.
Crazy. He gets hooked in. The box comes down. They really want to take out the Poppy, but the redemption is there. It should pop him back up quite a bit, as you can see right there. Back above 50% HP.
But the pressure is still on here from Samsung. Minions in the top lane starting to chip away at that inhib turret. Still isn't quite close to going down. A bit below half HP from what I can tell on the minimap. Samsung just want to fully commit right now to this mid and bottom lane.
Kha'Zix's top. Level 18. A lot of physical damage.
Coming out, trying to deny that dark passage, but it doesn't matter. There's still just no collapse coming through. Haru and Bless trading back and forth.
It's out of mana and can only fight in a minion wave, given the isolation damage from the Kha'Zix.
Spiderlings will get cleared out very quickly from the Void Spikes. So just has to play that very cautiously. Samsung yet again pushing forward. Cube just trying to be that big front line. Stitch taking a little bit of damage, but he's able to get the turret in the end. And while top goes down, BBQ trying to all in onto this bottom side. Juve goes low, a couple more shots would take him out. Flash forward. Ghost is able to find it.
And more,
they get more. The Scrying Orb coming down. They take the Blast Cone out. Bless just gets 1v1 by Haru. Comes up with the kill. And that should be the first inhibitor going down to the top side of the map.
Yeah, Baron buff has worn out, but Crown will also get free auto attacks. And Haru backing up in mid lane. Single kill is certainly not enough. Even if it is onto the tank, they won't be able to force anything in the interim. They keep up the outer mid lane inhibitor turret, but only on a sliver of HP. And sure, it's a one for one, but Samsung pick up the objectives which they were craving.
Yeah, really solid for them, and you can see just how much that gold lead has exploded for them. Now 8 turrets to 5. And Elder Dragon going to be in the sides of both of these teams. Only the Infernal Drake from BBQ. But if they could take that away, it's an Infernal Drake not getting buffed up for Samsung, as well as that Cloud Drake, which just gives them extra stacks for true damage.
They only really have a chance to rush it down or lose it. That's really all they can afford to do, because they have the worst inhibitor to be down, the one on the other side of the map, so they didn't decide to rush it. They aren't going to engage into Samsung Galaxy either, so free Infernal over to Samsung.
Elder, free Elder, yeah.
Free Elder, my apologies.
But Infernal getting buffed. So, 12 bill going to be
more. And for a Jhin, that means a lot.
Yeah. He's going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage. I mean, full build here for Stitch, full build for Crown. They have so much damage, as Rabbidd's Death Cap was the last expected item from Crown. So just keep your eyes on Crazies. You can see right there, jump down to almost half HP. Just a couple of hits from that Rise.
So a couple of hits from the Rise, and Jhin will also deal with the second inhibitor of the game. Remember, mid lane inhibitor turret is very, very low as well. Does not regenerate health that fast. Will be at about less than a third. In fact, a sliver, a tenth even.
About a tenth, yeah. So we can just go ahead, walk up Stitch. Very easily can take that out. Crazy goes in, trying to get on top of Haru. Gets an eye on the jump. Pops him up with the Keeper's Verdict. The shield's coming through from the side of Samsung. It's not enough to keep him alive, but now they're still fighting against this Elder Dragon buffed Samsung squad. Kev goes in, finds Stitch, works him down quite low, but can't come up with the kill yet. Crown's still full HP, and BBQ just has to be so cautious walking up towards this Rise. They get the GA pop away from Cube. A big hit on that fourth and final shot comes through. Crown goes for it, and he takes out the pop. He follows up with another one onto Totoro. He makes it a triple kill as he gets temped. Can he make it a quadra? Hunting down for Ghost, who's just running for his life down the bottom lane. Lands the Rune Prison before he jumps away. One more Q. Can he get it?
Oh! The burn is not enough.
Yeah, Ghost will not go down, so no quadra kill coming through. Won't be able to lead into the Penta. But Samsung trying to break the base, but they're pretty damn low, and Bless comes up with a kill on the Wraith. They're going to have to peel back out of this one. True Shot Barrage not going to find a target. Crown, Cuvée, and Stitch will hightail it out of the base. They get one Nexus turret, all 3 inhibs down, and Baron spawning in 5 seconds. And you just have to think that, BBQ, there's not much they can do.
Really nice start to the fight, specifically from Crazy, interrupting the lead from the Kha'Zix and allowing them to DPS down and force a 5v4. But even with the number advantage, Jin's full build, Rise's full build does a lot of consistent damage. Jin could just walk over to the brush next to the enemy base and open up, and no one else could close the distance to cancel the curtain call. So invariably, Samsung still come up ahead, not enough to end the game. So 43 minutes, we do drag on. They are all but ending the game, and speaking of ending the game, ended Totoro's life instantly.
Yeah, gets a reset, can hop right back into the pit. see just how much damage this Baron has taken, already down below half. Wes is here, he's just going to take the blast cone over towards the drugs, can't even try to go for the steal. Would just certainly lead to the end of the game. Has to go back and try to defend this last Nexus turret with his team. But 3 waves of super creeps pushing in. The end is nigh for BBQ in this series.
So close to what would have been a surprising series win for BBQ, but the eulogy was written too early for Samsung Galaxy. Didn't even change their lineup, but things looked a lot better. Now BBQ going to try and engage, but seems so unlikely.
Yeah. First verdict does come out, ejects QV yet again. Kurtkov is firing off of the back lines. Ghost goes low. Pell comes through from Bless, just keeping himself alive as best as possible. Crown pushes in, takes out Crazy yet again. Big petrifying gaze onto Wraith and Crown, but they're only able to find the Thresh. Meanwhile, a double kill coming through for Haru. The Nexus falls, and that is going to be Samsung. A massive turnaround on that game, but they come up with the win against seemingly against all odds with this squad. That they're just not as practiced on. Stitch, Wraith, and Haru. Making magic happen.
A really fun 3-game series. The teams took turns. Having clean victories in Game 1 and Game 2 for BBQ and Samsung respectively. And then Game 3, it was a seesaw, but the kind of seesaw you could get behind. Really decisive. First Baron at BBQ to stop the 1-3-1, get a big lead, and then a misfire. By BBQ around the second Baron, and good team fighting from Samsung got them second Baron, and it felt like once they got that Baron, all the little issues they had through the course of the series abated. They were able to just take the game, close it out very, very securely, and Samsung the better team, but not by much, and that should give BBQ fans hope that, okay, they will find themselves after the first round robin outside the playoff spots, but 5th place. Is a realistic end-of-season goal for BBQ, and once you hit the best-of-5 gauntlet stage, anything is possible.
I mean, for sure. Again, they're going to have a rematch against Samsung just later this week on Saturday. We'll see that one come back up.
Cool.
But they already defeated MVP. Those are the 2 teams that they can realistically beat, maybe even Longzhu on an off day. We'll see how Longzhu gets shaken up with recent troubles.
And I think with these reverse schedules, it can be frustrating to see both telecom wars instantly. But when you have a series like this, suddenly the next Samsung versus BBQ will build upon these 3 games. It feels like the storylines of the series will actually come through, just like we had an IEM meta. We're going to have a Samsung versus BBQ meta because the patch is not going to change between now and Saturday. And this series was so close that I'd love to see a 2-0 victory for a team that goes back, watches the VODs, and really adjusts to what the other team was doing on this day.
2-0 victor. That's definitely what Crown was going for with that game one, but
Stuck with
came up short.
Stuck with a 2-4, Victor. He's working on it, Achilles.
Yeah, still a little bit of work needed to be done, but that is pretty much every team settled right now in the rankings. Samsung didn't get the 2-0. They weren't able to establish themselves in third place over long. They will remain in fourth. BBQ set in sixth, but now, Papa Smithy, it's time to set. Settle first and second place come tomorrow.
I mean, the SKT KT fans come like, well, all the riffraffs worked out what they're doing. We want first. So the last game of the first round is the game that is always the game that defines the round. Whether KT and SKT are top or just in the top 5 or even on other sides of the ladder, it is always the telecom war, and this is the juiciest one we have had in many a year.
Certainly true. Take a look at the damage charts here. Really nicely done by Stitch. Went for that Jhin early on in the draft, and it paid off quite well. Crown as well, putting another victory on the board with that rise. 2-5, I believe, the record currently, so slowly trying to climb up that hill and get it to an even ratio. But your MVP for this third and final game will be Crown. 7-1-3 on that rise. 67% kill contribution, and he moves up to tie, a big tie. For second place at 500 points.
So many superstars at 500 points, and Crown finds himself in very good company. This rise was so accelerated, the 4 items. Just an absurdly early time. Got items on the side of Cassiopeia who did fine, but after the second Baron, Rise could resume split pushing that was denied by the decisive first Baron from BBQ. And it was vintage Crown on Rise rather than spring Crown on Rise.
I wonder if we're going to get to see the ill-advised realm warp that he made into the back line of all 5 members of BB.
It's a highlight reel, not a low light reel.
Every now and then we get those interesting ones tossed in the mix, and you're just like, huh, okay, you're having a laugh, OG, eh?
Apologies to Stitch, who's accurate. On the Jhin ultimates especially were really on point.
I thought he was, maybe somebody that could very well be in contention for the MVP, but Crown comes out on top, and I mean, just juke after juke on the petrifying gazes.
And let's be real, Baron was the MVP in this fight. Just DPSing down BBQ members freely.
Quite a bit of work for them, but this is where it all just started to go south.
You say started to go south. That was the quickest unraveling I've seen in a while. It was a really big momentum switch towards Samsung, and you know, Crown got 6 item phase so early that wasn't dying to burst. Temp's petrifying gazes were not catching him up, and the moment that Jin is able to free ult from that close proximity to BBQ, we're waiting for Samsung to be anointed series winners.
Yeah.
They will not go in 3rd place. They will actually come in 4th, so Longzhu will stay ahead.
But barely so. Should be a very close game next time we see those guys clash. I'm interested to see it. Gotta wait a little bit longer. For now, we're going to have our interview with our MVPs for today. So Joel, take it away with the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your interview translations. We are here with Samsung Galaxy, who lost their first game, but was able to pick up the next 2 games to get a comeback win of 2-1, and we are here with today's MVPs, Haru and Crown, for the interview. Haru. How do you feel about the win? It was a tough win for us. But it was a very deserving one for us, so we're very happy. So Crown, you haven't got to do the interview very much with us, but how do you feel? Yeah, I was pretty disappointed that, you know, I think I should have done more interviews like this, but you know, I think it was really reflecting my performance, and I really need to improve on it. And I think being able to do the interview today, it really reflected my improvements. A very interesting topic that we have to talk about is the ban pick phase in the last game. It seems like even in the second game, you guys left open a lot of the very interesting picks. And what was the strategy behind that? Yeah, that was what we were practicing during our scrims and during our practices, where we were leaving open a lot of the meta champions that other teams preferred, and we were just trying to counter it as much as possible so that that can probably catch them off guard, and that worked today.
그랬지만 데이터상으로 봐도 LCK 내에서 퍼블 전적 1위의 정글러거든요. 했다 하면 퍼블을 웬만하면 낸다는 얘기죠.
And Yuharu is has very interesting stat where you really contribute to getting the first blood turret.
정글 위치가 파악되거나 아니면
And I think it's very important to always know where your opposition jungler is so you can make the right pathing, so you can get an efficient route to get the first blood turret.
상대 입장을 다 이해하고 있다 뭐 이런 말씀이신 것 같네요. 네. 그리고 크라운 선수는 패배한 경기에 대해서 짧게 얘기를 해보고 싶은데요.
We want to talk about actually your loss in the first game.
그래서 팬 여러분들의 분석도 여러 가지
And there were a lot of speculations on why would you have picked Victor into that matchup. Yeah, I think whatever speculations were made is fair one.
일단 요즘 나오는 챔프들 중에서 이제 초반 푸시력이 강한 챔피언을 제외하고는
I think against with Victor, I think you can face it off against any mid laners that doesn't have a very fast push. But as long as you can avoid those kind of mid champions, Victor goes well against them.
괜찮은 것 같아요. 네.
And I still think it's a very viable pick.
보면 좀 그런 생각도 들어요. 크라운 선수의 최대 강점이자 어떻게 보면 약간 제한적일 수 있는데
Another thing about you, Crown, is it can be your strength and your weakness at the same time. Is that
변수를 만들다기보다는
you kind of take your time developing yourself, but sometimes if your team isn't growing with you, then that kind of leads to your downfall. But at the same time, like your third game, you just grow up to be a very
나오긴 한데
carry.
저는 뭐 주로 대회에서 하는 게 이런 챔프들이라 그렇게 이미지가 잡혀 있는 것
And I
같아요.
think it's a misconception that that I get because this is how I play the LCK. But
하면은 또 나쁘지
when I play solo queue and anything like that, a player like myself doesn't always have to grow in the late game.
보면서 얘기를 좀 나눠보죠.
So let's look at a video highlight.
이게 발언반 싸움반 상황.
This is a situation where the other team was pretty confused about whether to take the Baron or go for the team fight.
굉장히 좋은 진영이었거든요. 뽀삐 과연 먼저 빠지고
If you can see, the Poppy GA fell off first, and that gave us the room to initiate much harder.
궁극기에 대해서
네.
펜트 선수가 위협적으로 들어온 순간도 많았는데 좀 팀적으로 잘 피하더라고요. 항상 또
네.
의식을 하셨나요?
근데 계속 제가 이제 카시 궁만 조심하는
Right now, if you look at those video highlights, that you can see that I was trying to really watch out for the Cassiopeia ults, and that's the only thing I was really worried about. And as long as I can avoid that, I think we would have won the team fight, and it was a good strategy for us.
하실 말씀 주셨던 것 같은데요.
Harry, you wanted to comment on that?
다시 나왔을 때 거의 풀궁을 계속 맞았거든요.
Yeah, Cassiopeia was one of my feared champions because I always get hit by the ult and ended up dying to it, and
그래가지고 좀 조심하게
but that just allowed me to be a bit more careful with regarding that champion.
바탕이 됐다 이 말씀이신 것 같습니다. 일단 오늘 또 과거 CJ에서 같이 활동했었던 고스트 선수가 애쉬로 엄청난 활약을
And you guys faced off in opposition with CJ, a former teammate in Ghost, who put up a very astounding performance.
저는 원래 좀 잘한다고 생각했어요.
I always thought Ghost was a spectacular player, although many people haven't commented much on it.
잘하는 것 같아요.
No, but he's a very talented player for sure.
반드시 이기고 싶다든지 뭐 의지를 좀 불살랐다든지 뭐 그런 건 특별히 없었나요?
Did you not have any personal